Hello and welcome to the Redhead and the Bearded Beauty. I am the Bearded Beauty.
I'm the Redhead.
Before we start talking about, city related stuff, I have a bone to pick with you.
Because I was wrong.
You were wrong about turtles.
I was wrong. I've been harping on that for a while. I think I've mentioned it too. And
yes.
I've been harping. I give the mayor a hard time about the turtle thing.
Yeah.
But I was wrong.
No, I looked into it. I'm like, am I really illegal here? And according to state ordinance, state law, whatever, if you have your fishing permit or hunter's permit, license, whatever, you can have up to 3.
You can have up to 3. But what if you don't have your fishing permit?
Then I don't think you can. But if you are under 18 or over 65, it's okay.
You can have turtles. So it's illegal for adults to have turtles.
Yes. I don't know what that doesn't really make sense there, but
it doesn't make sense there.
So I might start a whole campaign to lobby for turtles.
I think we should. It's illegal for me to own a turtle.
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't have a fishing license or
fishing
permit, hunter's license.
I'm not a fisher. I'm not a fishing person. I used to like going as a kid, but we would always throw the fish back, and that's what I liked doing. But then I realized that fish could feel pain, so now I'm not into fishing.
I will tell this story. My daughter, she just loves fishing. I mean, I like fishing. I grew up fishing.
I just like being on the water and relaxing and stuff. Yeah. Your daughter's a good fisher.
She just loves it. And so she was wanting to go with one of her friends. She's in 4th grade, just started today. And so one of her friends, a boy, we hooked it up so they could come together, and I was laughing. I took both of them out fishing, and it's like, this kid's first date with my daughter is going fishing. He just stepped up in my book.
That's great. I love that.
Then I also told my wife if he made one move on my daughter, then he was going to get pounded. No, just joking there, but yeah.
So your kids are back to school?
Back to school.
Back to school.
Back to school. That means we're going to have buses out and about.
Yep.
So if you see the arm out with the stop sign on the bus and the flashing lights, you cannot pass that bus in either direction.
Yeah.
So
you can't pass in either direction. And also just around school time, just slow it down, especially in residential neighborhoods. I know starting at 4, there's kids running around, in my neighborhood, and just be mindful, slow it down.
Yeah, because you never know when one of those kids, they might dart out across the street after getting off the bus or trying to get on the bus.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, I saw somebody going the opposite direction, decided, I'm not going to stop. I just blew right by. So, and that's not safe.
Yeah.
They're probably focused more on the bus and nothing's coming from the bus, but kids could be coming across the street. So just keep an eye out for that. Well,
in my neighborhood and in lots of neighborhoods, there's a lot of kids that walk to school because you're just a couple blocks away from a high school and middle school. So it's, they're playing with their friends and stuff, not paying attention. So it's your job as an adult to pay attention, make sure you're mindful.
Yep.
So, yeah.
What else we had going on this week?
So we've been doing the redistricting meeting, and it wasn't really one of my projects, but we did some public input meeting last night, so I've kind of stepped in to do some of that. Something we do often. They're pretty easy, and we redistricting is all about map making, which isn't really the sexiest thing. I don't mean to offend Dan and Mike, who are amazing, map makers and work in our planning department. They do really cool work on our GIS system. If you haven't checked out our GIS system, go on our website, do that. There's some really cool things, not just tracking the sweepers of the plains or the snow plows in the winter, but just lots of other really cool stuff. But so they've been working on redistricting with the redistricting committee, and they decided last week they wanted to do a public input meeting. So we threw that together, but it was kind of short notice because they just decided last Wednesday. And it was last night. We're recording this on a Wednesday. What day is it? So it was Tuesday evening, and so we had a little less than a week to just tell people about it. And typically those things don't get a whole lot of engagement. We've done lots of street meetings and stuff like that with the planning department that I've been involved in. Typically you'll get some really engaged folks and then maybe a couple outliers that it really impacts who come out and give their opinion. I'd say our average for something like that is maybe 20 people.
Yeah. Last night you had a fairly good turnout, though.
Yeah, we had over 40. So plus some media friends were there. So that was great. Really good input. And we've had some good input on forum. But for something that's not really, I'm going to say like directly impactful for a lot of people, unless you're in like a neighborhood association that it might like impact, like really good public feedback so far. So thanks for everyone who did that. And they're continuing that process. And then even after the committee makes its recommendation, it'll go to council. Council will continue working it and get more public feedback through DABs and other means. So been a really robust process. One we don't have to go through once every 10 years. So, but yeah, a lot of work's gone into that.
Yeah, it's when you're glad when it's over because then you don't have to worry about it for another 10 years. So.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but
very good. So, anything else going on?
Those are our big things. We got a great transit award this week for more electric paratransit buses, 10 more. So that's really cool.
And I think there was some charging stations as part of that.
Yeah, and some charging stations. So great federal grant money to help expand our fleet and replace old vehicles. The cost to maintain it is less and it's better for the environment. So really good stuff.
Yeah, very good. And I think Jennifer's probably going to be here pretty quick, so we probably ought to wrap this up. But one more thing, we're still going to offer, and I think I've decided that I will go out and personally buy 2 tickets to Botanica for anyone if they can guess what my baby's name is going to be. You give us a boy's name, give us a girl's name, because we're not finding out. It's due September 21st.
Okay.
So 2 tickets to Botanica, anybody who can guess the name.
Okay.
So you can leave a comment in the YouTube, on our Facebook page, message us that way, or email us at social@wichita.gov. Give us your guesses.
All right. Before we sign off, I have 2 more guesses because
Okay.
you already told me the ones that I guessed weren't right.
You can keep guessing and all the way up until
right.
then, and you're not going to get it.
All right. I'm guessing for the girl, Caroline, and for the boy, Chadwick.
Chadwick.
Mm-hmm.
And Caroline.
Mm-hmm.
2 very good guesses, but no.
You can't tell me if I'm wrong. You can't tell me.
I can't tell you.
You shouldn't tell me.
I just did. So come again next week.
I'm just going to call your wife and just be like, just tell me. So she'll tell me, and then we'll like prank you.
She won't. I guarantee she won't tell you anything
Yeah.
because she at first was like, why are you doing that? You're going to slip up on the air and you're going to say it, or somebody's going to guess it, and your face is going to give it away. So,
okay. Well,
yeah.
I won't call Jeanette. But.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break, and we're going to bring in our city attorney, Jennifer Magana, and to talk about the law department and everything they do. So stick around, and we'll be right back.
My dog, I'm still inside.
Okay, you stay right here. I'll go get the dog, okay?
All right, welcome back. We are now joined by Jennifer Magana, our city attorney. Jennifer, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right, so to kick this off, just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do with the city.
Oh, okay. Well, my position is city attorney and director of the law department. So the city law department has 2 divisions. City has the city prosecutor's office and then the civil division. And so I supervise both of those, and then we can talk a lot in detail about those. But then by ordinance, my title says I have some duties such as attend all council meetings. So I get a reserved front row seat at every council meeting. I'm the chief legal advisor for the city county manager. I have to draft all ordinances, resolutions, agreements, contracts, anything of a legal nature. Now, I don't do that myself, but, have to supervise that. And then serve as the chief parliamentarian for the city council, which is another duty in the ordinance. The other, part of our job is then the prosecution office performs the prosecution function. There's about 50,000 municipal misdemeanors every year. They're responsible for prosecuting every misdemeanor within the city limits of Wichita, and there's a wide variety of those. And we provide victim services for the victims of certain crimes. In that office, and then we provide a diversion program in a alternative to prosecution. So that's the prosecution division, and then the civil division is up on 13th floor. We provide all legal services, representation, advice, opinions, drafting documents, everything like that. So
Had a little experience with all of them, and maybe we can get into that later.
sure.
So when you're not here at the city, tell us a little bit about who you are at home.
Oh, I'm probably more relaxed at home.
Same.
Well, we have a family. My husband, Chris, and I have 2 daughters. One's just leaving for her senior year of college right now, and one will be a junior at high school this year. So that's that. And then we're pretty kind of active in the community. I'm volunteering as just different things that come up. Currently have this fun title of Honorary Commander of the 184th Wing of the Kansas Air National Guard. So shout out to the wing.
That's really cool.
They're really awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think people realize what all they do. They're based at McConnell, and they are aligned with the U.S. Air Force, although they're Kansas Air National Guard. So honorary is the key word in that title. I'm Honorary Commander. I don't have real hard duties, but that's a really wonderful thing for the community to know about what we have there. They're a great asset. So just do other things, enjoy K-State sports. So shout out to the Wildcats, that kind of thing, cooking and reading and just some general hobbies like that.
Yeah. And work keeps you pretty busy.
It does.
Yeah.
If it's not here, it's kind of on my mind.
Yes, exactly.
That's
yeah.
what I would say. If it's on my mind a lot.
I think if you work on the 13th floor, like it's constant.
You're like, I'm out in the yard doing yard work on the weekends or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I could do this, I
Yeah.
could do this.
Yeah.
Oh, what about that? And
Shower thoughts and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
I knew as a city attorney when I'm driving around town and I'm seeing things in right-of-ways that bother me, and I'm worried
Yes.
about it. I'm
Yes.
worried about it all the time still.
Yeah.
Too much.
When you drive by and you're like, well, that's against even like, well, that's against city ordinance to display your sign like that in the red. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Little things.
It's fun.
All right, we like to play a little game on the show called Two Truths and a Lie. I understand you have your 2 truths and a lie.
Yeah. Okay. One, I started driving a tractor on my family farm when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
Second, I was Miss Rodeo Kansas. And third, I have won 3 spelling bee championships as an adult.
I believe all of those things, but I
Yes.
feel like the lie is the third one, and I feel like you've won more spelling bees than that.
I'm going to say it's 2, not 3.
Okay. All right.
Because I know you do spelling bees.
You're right. You got it, Tyler. That I am not Miss Rodeo Kansas. I was not Miss Rodeo Kansas, but my friend was, and I wished I could have been her because she was really cool.
That's awesome.
I don't even do rodeo, but she was cool.
I believed it. I believed that you were Miss Rodeo
Very
Kansas.
cool.
Oh,
Fenton.
thank you. But the spelling bee thing, yeah, I did some. There was like a fundraiser.
Yeah.
A group has had some, and the women attorneys have had a team, and it's been really hilarious.
Yeah.
I did like go to the state spelling bee a couple times, and so
That's awesome.
I have a weird why do I have this weird talent? But
No,
guess.
I love spelling bees.
It's very competitive.
It is very competitive. I love watching spelling bees. And I actually love watching rodeo too. It's like the one sport that I actually, bull riding, I really enjoy. So
Yeah, this year they asked if we would do it again. I'm like, I just don't need this much stress. I can't do the spelling bee again. I love it, but I just can't. So it's fun. It's been fun. But yeah, I have little trophies, the little bee trophies in the office.
no, that's the women's attorney. You're also part of the Wichita Bar Association.
Yeah.
And they just gave you an award last year,
Oh,
right?
Well, thank you. I did. I received a President's Award last year. So that was very nice. Just an honor for, I guess, being a good member of the bar, and I don't know what else.
Yeah.
But it was nice recognition.
Yeah, it was a big deal, actually.
Thank you. It was nice to be recognized by the Bar Association. I've been very active. It's a great organization and a great piece of the legal profession in Wichita. And I think it makes it a good place to practice law here because
Yeah.
it's pretty civil and we have a lot of fun. And it's hard to be as adversarial and difficult with people if you've met them already and
Right.
you're working with them or
Yeah.
you're serving on
Yeah.
a committee. And so we have a good bar association.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's great.
All right, you
Yeah.
want to go next?
Yes. Okay. So I have Kansas facts.
Oh, good.
Kansas facts. Don't look. The U.S. state of Kansas covers 82,000 square miles, roughly 82,000 square miles. Kansas is the 83rd state of the United States of America, and became a state on
The 83rd?
83rd.
Okay.
Kansas became a state on Tuesday, January 29th, 1861.
Can I go?
You can go.
Is it 2 truths and a lie?
It's 2 truths and a lie.
Okay, I'm going to say number 2.
Good job. How did you know?
Oh, that could have caught us sleeping. That would have been really bad, though.
I actually had a typo. I wrote down the wrong number, but yeah, you're correct. It
what was the number you were intending?
Not the correct number, but yeah, it is not the 84th state. So yeah, I'm a really bad liar.
It was like, there's only 50 states. I would have picked a little bit lower number, but
Nope. I'm just a real bad liar.
Tough writing. You just didn't write it.
Mm-hmm.
all right. Since we are talking about the law department today, I figured I would go with some strange and obscure laws that have been on the books for the city.
Okay.
Right now, it is illegal to serve cherry pie a la mode on Sundays. So for those who don't know, I had to look it up. It's cherry pie with ice cream on top. In Wichita, a man's mistreatment of his mother-in-law may not be used as grounds for divorce. And it is unlawful for any person to swim or wade in a swimming pool. I'm going to have to start that again. So anyway, you cannot... It's unlawful for someone to swim in any of our fountains in the city of Wichita. I put the whole ordinance in there, and I started reading the wrong part of it. So which one is it?
I feel like it's number 1, and I've seen that on the list of like weird laws, but I feel like it's not in Wichita, but it's somewhere. It's a weird law somewhere. That's my guess.
I think it's number 2.
Number 2? It is number 1.
I thought we had it.
Used to be in the state of Kansas illegal to serve cherry pie with ice cream on it on Sundays. And I could not find anything to say why or anything like that. And then
I remember hearing about that.
And then I have seen this. I have not been able to confirm that this is still the case, but it is in Wichita. At least at one point, it was illegal. A woman could not divorce a husband because of his mistreatment of the mother-in-law.
Wow.
So
Good
I could
research.
not confirm that was still on the books. I was trying
We
really
can
hard.
research these for you and nail it down if you would like an opinion today. We do that kind of stuff. We'll write a memo.
Speaking of that, looking things up, I'm always impressed on Tuesdays when the council comes up and they're like, what is the legal opinion on this? And it's just out of left field. How do you come up with the answer?
Yeah, I don't know that I always do. Just try to go through the agenda ahead of time and try to have an idea of what might be asked. But, a lot of times I just kind of do the general best I can, just try to be familiar with the ordinances. I mean, that's our job, I guess. The items that have come before council, by this time I should be somewhat familiar with them. But it's always, a moment of, well, what are they going to ask today? Mm-hmm. And what am I going to answer in public in front of everybody without researching it? So it's kind of like a perfect storm of scary for lawyers.
Yes.
It's in public. It's not a confidential answer, and it's recorded forever. So,
it's recorded forever, yeah.
Opportunity for failure every week. Every week.
Well, and law is so impactful, but also, like we were talking about silly laws, you can look up all of our ordinances and laws on Municicode.
Mm-hmm.
There's links on the website, or you can just go to Municicode and look up Wichita. Yeah. And I mean, we get some bizarre questions that we've had to answer, from like, how many ostriches can I have in my yard, or peacocks, or things like that. And by the way, you can't have peacocks because they make a lot of noise.
They're loud.
They're
That's
loud.
right. You would not think about how that is an issue, but
they're very loud. There's a peacock in my neighborhood currently, and I hear it, and I'm very enchanted by it, and I refuse to turn it in. But things like that are just very odd, that at some point we have had to make a determination on these things.
I guess that if you think that looking at why they did it, somebody must have ruined it for everybody.
Exactly.
I guess that's why we had the laws. Apparently somebody's peacock was too loud.
It's just someone came up.
The council decided they had to take legislative action.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I can guess.
You have to, and if you do want an ostrich, you can have an ostrich. You can have one, and you just have to have enough. As long as you have enough space for it, has to be good for the animal. So you can't have it like in your tiny backyard.
Yeah.
You just planted the seed, so I might be getting an ostrich now.
I'm here for that. You can have a goat too.
Yeah.
I used to have a pet goat.
Can't we have up to is it 3 goats?
Oh, I'd have to look. Jennifer?
I think it depends on the acreage. I think you can have 1 goat per acre, maybe.
Okay.
Or something. Some things require an acre, like for certain livestock. Does anybody have a small pot-bellied pig?
I've known people with pot-bellied pigs.
Well, there is one limitation for that. There's a certain weight limit, and there's something else, and it also cannot be maintained as a food source.
Oh God! Yeah. Oh,
it's
that's
on the
horrible. Oh, dear. Oh God! Was someone doing that?
I don't know, but that's one of the rules. I just read the rules. That's what it says. So you should know that. People should know.
Yeah, they should know.
And 85 pounds is the weight limit.
Oh, see, I know dogs that are bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just important stuff to know.
Yeah. That is important.
Yeah.
What's the oddest case that you can talk about that you have had to make determinations on in your time in the city?
Yeah, it probably involves animals. I mean, it's always an animal case.
Yeah.
We have big transactional documents and
Yeah.
$1 million contracts, but it's usually involving an animal and
Yeah.
somebody, it's biting or it's doing something, it's not supervised. It bit a pig or it bit a person or something. But I did get a question once on my voicemail. It was kind of cryptic. I mean, it was not a big case, but it was just a question of quietly, is it illegal to shoot a corpse? So I don't know. They didn't leave a name, but
That
they
would
just wondered.
qualify
They just left
for
a
odd.
number, and so I thought that's always bothered me. I don't know.
That's
Sorry.
Oh,
Citizens call. The thing is, citizens. There's a misconception, I think, that because we're public, that we're here
Right.
for them. So we get a lot of calls from citizens
I bet.
who just ask legal questions. Just ask. They think we can provide legal advice, and I'm sorry to tell them we can't represent them and we can't give them legal advice.
Right.
But there's just a common misconception that we can do that.
I feel like for that one, maybe referring them to a therapist might have been a good
Yeah, I didn't call
opportunity.
back.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Or one of those rage rooms or something.
Yes, which are fantastic.
Maybe they were just looking up fun laws, just
Right.
hopefully trivia. It was
Yeah.
hopefully not.
We're going to go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of misconceptions and, people not understanding everything, talk a little bit about the difference between all the court here at City Hall and then across the street at the county. Like, how does that look different
yeah.
for the resident?
Sure. Okay, for citizens, a lot of times their first contact with the court is municipal court because we just have the high volume. We have all the traffic cases in the city of Wichita and the misdemeanors such as petty theft, the shoplifting, DUI. We handle the housing code and code violations that are what people see and feel in their neighborhoods. And the domestic violence cases that are filed as a misdemeanor. So what's different is in a municipal court, it's not a court of where there's a court reporter. There are judges with dockets and things move really fast. They kind of get in and out. We don't have juries here, so there's not a jury trial. If they want a trial, they get a trial before a judge, and it happens pretty fast. So then municipal court cases, if someone is found guilty, they have the right to start over and appeal to district court. So we're just kind of a court of limited jurisdiction in that sense. We don't handle civil matters like divorces or lawsuits or probate cases or anything like that. We just handle the prosecution of the misdemeanors in the city of Wichita.
Yeah, and you mentioned domestic violence misdemeanors. Your office also does a lot for domestic violence awareness and advocacy. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. We do have a domestic violence victim advocate and another position that is partly funded to help with victim services. One of our duties under the state law is to provide victims with rights. They have a Bill of Rights under the Kansas law and we've adopted a policy to ensure that they are notified of what their rights are, to be present when cases are heard, to be present in sentencing, to know when court dates are happening and what their options are. So our prosecutors work with our position, the victim advocate, to try to achieve the best result possible. And so sometimes that is just navigating the system, and the victim advocate helps them find resources. Sometimes the case goes on too long and it's just very difficult for someone to come back to court, and we respect that. We just try to work with them for the best outcome, and have a lot of people who are very, very trained at that, and it's a challenge to navigate, but glad we can provide that service.
Yeah. I know in October we work to put out a lot of messaging around that.
Yeah, that is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we do some messaging, and there's a Purple Mile Walk at WSU that the city and all community agencies participate in. It's really a great way to raise awareness and to honor victims, unfortunately, every year. But it's a really special event, and we'll participate again.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Now we'll shift a little bit here and move upstairs to the 13th
yeah.
floor, and you said it was the civil side. Correct me
Yeah.
sure I'm getting that correct. So
Yeah.
explain a little bit more about what those attorneys do.
yeah, well, we have 9 civil attorneys, including myself, and 4 support staff who are essential parts of the team. Our duties up there to provide all the legal advice and legal opinions that are requested from everyone from city council to city manager, all department directors who need it. And then we also serve the advisory boards. The city has how many advisory boards? 20,
yeah,
I don't know.
quite a few,
as
and
needed.
growing.
And we provide staffing to them. Sometimes we provide, we go to their meetings. So provide legal opinions when we requested. Sometimes it's just informal advice. Sometimes it's a more formal researched opinion that we need to spend some time really looking into and issue a written opinion for them. And then we provide legal representation. If the city's sued or city gets claims filed against it, we provide that representation. We can't do everything, though. Sometimes we contract with outside counsel for specialized work, so we supervise that work as well. There's a lot of written documents just to review. Every contract that somebody sends to the law department, we need to review it and make sure it's ready to go and approved as to form, that it's legally sound. Every time an item comes before council on the agenda, it needs to have been reviewed and make sure it's legal and it's defensible and it's accurate. And so that's kind of a weekly rhythm we have to make sure everything is ready and approved and accurate. So the city is in a good position. So that's kind of what we do, the civil side.
Yeah, I've had to do that a couple of times, taking stuff before council, have it taken through law, and then working on different policies and that sort of thing. So I know one we're working on now, you've reviewed for me, and I think I'll have to send it back. We've made more changes.
It takes some time,
Yeah. So your office also has work with the Kansas Open Records Act. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Kansas Open Record Act is the state law that provides open records to the citizens of Kansas, and our office advises all the city departments who have records custodians on when a record must be released upon a request. And so we have probably 3,000 requests a year of some kind. I haven't looked at this year's numbers, but the numbers are big.
We've worked to make that even more open, collaborative. You can see all of our CORA requests, Kansas Open Records Act, CORA, online, so you can see everything from media requests to just citizens asking about their cases. We get a lot of building requests and stuff on there too. You can see all of them.
The city's new software system has made it so much more user friendly, I think.
Yes,
and available, so
easier to track and all that stuff, and just more transparent for everyone in the community.
So that's an interesting area to advise on. Every case is different, and we really want to make sure it's construed in favor of the open record being open. Yeah. At the same time, city has records that are sensitive, such as a personnel record or a bid document that's not yet open, or a police report that's still under investigation. Yeah. There are just so many different kinds of records, so it's always interesting. But it requires a lot of manual review, and we just need to really spend time to really look at those records and make sure we are getting it right, and then draft an appropriate response to the person requesting it. So it's a big part of what we do.
Yeah. I know we always try to be as transparent as possible, as soon as possible, but sometimes we're just kept from putting out information because of those legal reasons.
And sometimes it's just the volume of the records requested.
Yeah.
I mean, I think citizens or requesters just don't realize how many they're asking for when they phrase a request a certain way, and their record will come back, and IT will do a search, and they're really great about getting the search done fast, and they'll say, okay, there's 4,000 of these records, which ones do you want, and so you gotta sometimes work with the requester to figure it out. I think citizens, have the right to see all that. Sometimes they just don't realize just how many records there are in the city when they start asking.
So. Or they might phrase something and get things that they really don't care about.
Yeah.
So working with them to get, what they need.
I think the website's really helpful, and that software really shows the city, shows what we have and what is open and what's available. And then, like I said, we post a lot of things. Yeah. So it's there. That's helpful.
Think one good thing about the new system, and there's lots of good things about it, but the fact that people can see what other people have requested, they might have those same questions. So
a lot of people are interested in the same thing.
So.
So it does save a lot of time, and it's smart to do that.
Well, there have been some times like we've gotten questions, and it's like, actually, this has already been pulled. If you just click this link and look at it,
and we're so happy because we don't have to go through reviewing it again. So. Yeah, that is an interesting part of its job, and it's a daily, every day we get requests, I think, just about every day.
Oh, yeah.
So people may not realize that. It touches all departments, so there's just an interest in a lot of different things, and that's great.
Yeah.
So, it's one thing we do.
All right. Anything else you want to add about the law department? I know we could probably go on for hours about this.
Yeah, I think, it's just it's such an interesting department because
Yeah.
we work with all the departments in the city, you know, whether it's water treatment or, you know, airport. We are internal support, and we really get to see behind the scenes what's going on. So we're enjoying what we do, and it's a great department to be in. So I'm very honored to be in that position.
Well, you probably learn a lot about the city that
Every day, continuing to
Yes.
learn. We'll never learn it all, I think. So
Yeah.
I think being up on 13th floor between city manager's office, law department, it's good because you see the whole organization and learn things that you never would have known.
And
So
it's really great to see a project that we worked on in some way get to completion and, you know, be a good thing, a new policy or some initiative. And, you know, if we can be a part of that, we're just happy because, you know, we helped our clients. So it's a customer service business for us. And so we're happy to help.
All right, we like to close out these shows with some dad jokes. So do you have some?
I have one.
All right.
Because, you know, I grew up on a farm. So how do you get a farm girl to marry you?
How do you get a farm girl to marry you? Being from small town western Kansas, I should know this.
I don't know.
Give up. You attract her. I was so excited about that. I'm glad I made you laugh.
I like that. I like that.
Very good.
It's just very fitting.
Well, I have a couple for you. What do you call a chicken that has graduated from law school?
Oh, I've never heard this.
I don't know.
A legal tender.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That was so perfect.
I have one more. A woman sued an airport for losing her luggage, but unfortunately, she lost the case.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good ones.
Yeah.
Very relevant. Good. Thank you.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I was arrested for stealing all of Wikipedia. When the officer was putting the handcuffs on, I said, "Wait, I can explain everything."
Oh. I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah.
I got one more.
All right.
I could go all day, actually. But. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but the first French fries were not cooked in France. Do you know where they were cooked?
In oil?
You can do better.
In a pan?
In Greece.
Oh.
Good. That was good. Good.
Yep. So,
I'm really
Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today.
glad to be invited. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or any topics you'd like to hear about, feel free to email us at social@wichita.gov. And again, thanks for watching.